Do we have that audio we just played on the spokesperson at the White House? Not really able to explain why they called it the Inflation Reduction Bill. Here it is.
But if you passed a bill called the Fill Every Pothole Act, I mean, voters should expect you to fill every pothole. I mean, so should voters measure the success of this bill on how much you reduce inflation in the next couple of years?
So this bill spins out over several years. And so the tax provisions, for example, some of the tax revenue will happen immediately. Some of the benefits in terms of deficit reduction will materialize over time. So again, this is really an investment in our economy. It represents the president's economic vision for transitioning to an economy that works better for American families by generating the kind of growth that's based on stable, steady productivity gains in the language of economists. So that kind of growth that we know we need to be making in order to ensure that we continue progressing for the decades to come.
Yeah, and a name is just a name, but there are definitely a lot of other names you could have named this bill.
We just lied. It's so funny how you lied to the American people.
Man. You lied and you raped us and you left us for dead. Oh, that is funny.
Oh, that's so funny. How you took a problem that's affecting real people and ruining their financial lives, and you acted like you were addressing it.
You put a sign on the door that said safe space, and we all went in and there were killers and rapists in the room. That is funny that you put safe space on the door.
What a joy you are.
Oh, my gosh, these people are evil. Anyway, the CBO came out yesterday, and they were talking about how it's not going to reduce inflation. It's not going to reduce the deficit. In fact, it's going to add to the deficit. It's not going to help the GDP. In fact, it's going to hurt the GDP. Oh, and
it will raise taxes on the middle class, as they promised they would not do.
Yeah, the whole IRS thing. Yeah, that's, that is coming out. They're going to come after you because they have to. This is what the CBO said yesterday. Thank you for the timely update. And by the way, the CBO is known for making things look better than they actually become. So that fills me with, we're in for a hellscape.
I will say, Glenn, I did hear some pretty important things about the IRS, and this is important because they said before, I don't know if you've ever called the IRS before, which I'm sure you have.
I called them back in 1986. I'm still on hold, but they're going to pick up any time.
Well, that was the big selling point of this bill. They said because they're hiring 80,000 new employees, someone might answer the phone when you call.
Well, that is fantastic. And you know what's really great is they're going to be so efficient, you're not even going to have to call them. They'll call and come visit you. Anyway, this is all about the United States government has no, I shouldn't say that. The United States president, the administration includes the Department of Education, Agriculture, Commerce, all of it. They all have private armies. Let me ask you, why does the Department of Agriculture have armed officers? I mean, sure. I mean, the very well-known wars that go between the corn farmers and the Amish, you know, when they get their extremist yogurt feud going on with the Amish, there's nothing that will quell that other than a United States Department of Agriculture Army. They are developing things, and they are putting you into the extremist position. Look at over in Europe, they're already forcing the farmers to live on these ESG rules, which are, by the way, completely nonsensical. That's not even happening. This is a conspiracy theory. These aren't the droids you're looking for. They're already protesting, and the farmers are being called the extremists. Have you forgotten who grows your food? Grows food? No, I get my food from the supermarket. Oh, okay, then don't worry about the farmers. They are targeting anyone who disagrees with them as an extremist. And this is why the special tonight on the Blaze TV is so important. You have to understand what is coming for you as a Christian. Now, as somebody who is in a faith that's not the most popular, I will tell you, you're going to look at these days, if you were, let's say, a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness, you're going to look at these times for those people as, those days don't come back. I mean, it's not going to be easy to be a Christian soon. And it all starts with white Christian nationalism. They are making Christians into extremists, and they are lying about our faith. Christians are the next one in line, and your faith is now on trial. But it's a kangaroo court. They're not calling any witnesses on the other side. They're calling witnesses that agree with them. It is so misleading and so dangerous. You need to understand how they are painting Christianity in America. That's what we're going to do tonight. Show you where this all breaks down, give you the rebuttals to these things so you can share them with your friend and I didn't say friends. I did say share it with your friend, because if you're actually a Christian today and you're willing to stand up for it, you probably have one friend. But you need to be able to answer and tell your friends and have them share with others. This is an amateur smear campaign, but it is going to be relentless. CNN came out with an article last week. We're going to debunk that tonight. And also, look at this one. Catholics weaponized the Rosary. From the Atlantic. The AR-15 is a sacred object among Christian nationalists. Now, you would ask yourself, what is a Christian nationalist? Stu, if I asked you this, I said, what is a Christian nationalist? What would you say?
A Republican.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow, the brainwashing has worked even on you. What would you say a Christian nationalist is?
There's a vision of a Christian nationalist that basically is an idea of an America that is built on Christian principles, but is closer really to a theocracy and is exclusionary toward other faiths. Other races usually is included in that as well. The idea
Can you give me a country in history that might be labeled a Christian nationalist country? Not labeled, not actually one, but one labeled that.
An example that was named, certainly they like to say that about Hitler back in the day.
Yeah.
Germany, of course,
Right.
it was
It's
completely
untrue.
ridiculous. We've covered that many times. We don't need to go back into it. But Hitler, not a Christian, not a fan of Christianity, wanted to end all of the churches, was literally outspoken throughout his not only commentary with close advisors, but admitted much of this publicly, that this was a long-term goal of fascism, but
to wipe it out.
But let's call it Christian nationalism anyway, I think is the approach of the media.
So Christian nationalism, they've defined this, and you'll find out all of this tonight at Blaze TV. If you are not a member, may I ask you to join us? We are in the fight for our life right now. And I would ask that you would join Blaze TV. I know your money is tight. I know. I think and pray about you all the time. I honestly, every time I go to the grocery store or go fill up a tank, I wonder, how are you making it? How is the average person making it? And so I know it's tight, but we really try to give you much more than your money's worth on Blaze TV. And even if you just watch our Wednesday night special, you get so much more and so many more talent. You get Mark Levin and Steven Crowder and everybody else. But we really depend on you. It is going to get harder and harder for all of us to survive soon. And if we can stick together, we'll be able to make it. We'll be able to make it. But you need to know the truth, and my staff I think we do more research on my staff than any other talk show on radio or television. And we sure would like your support at Blaze TV. Just sign up now. Become a member of the family. You'll save 10%. Use the promo code Glenn. blazetv.com/Glenn. So tonight we're going to be talking about this, and you need to arm yourself with it. But let me continue with this from The Atlantic. The AR-15 is a sacred object among Christian nationalists. Is it? Now the radical traditional Catholics are bringing a sacrament of their own to the movement. Whew. On this extremist fringe, rosary beads have been woven into a conspiratorial politic and an absolutist gun culture. You know, I have to tell you, I can remember Sister Siobhan and Sister Uno and Sister Julie, as they would be whispering the rosary on their knees. I remember walking into the church as a kid, and the candles and the smell of the church and the incense, and they were there, and you could just barely hear them, and I'd walk up behind them because I didn't want to disturb them, but then one of them would hear me, and they were surprised, and all I heard was, and they took their ARs out, and they're like, stand down, stand down, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, sister, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Oh, they're so radical, those rosary people. The armed radical traditionalists have taken a spiritual notion that the rosary can be a weapon in the fight against evil. Now, this is a new thing? Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, maybe it's just me. I was raised Catholic. I always thought the rosary and doing things like praying was a weapon in the fight against evil. Yes, but now they're taking it literally. It's a garrote. That's what it really is. I've seen him before. Jason Bourne, I mean, they've changed it, from reality, but the real Jason Bourne, when he goes and he chokes people out, he uses a rosary. Now, what do you think the Pope is doing? When he has to kill people, he uses a rosary. Anyway, social media pages are saturated with images of rosaries draped over firearms. How many times have you seen that?
I hate that. This is the thing they do now to show a movement when they can't find one. Like the other day, they were saying after the raid on the Mar-a-Lago residence of Donald Trump, they said the words civil war were being tweeted once a minute. Now, there are 400 million people on Twitter. You're getting one tweet every 60 seconds. This is not a news story, okay? Any combination of words is being tweeted once a minute on Twitter.
Not hot.
Apparently not.
Cheerleader.
No, yeah, you couldn't find
That's
any.
not me. Nope, not happening.
So ridiculous, but this is what they want to do.
All right. So here's something, and I just want to point this out. If you are a non-traditional Catholic theologian, so you're for this, this new, more open, progressive, hey, everybody can be whoever they want to be, and we should marry everyone and everything else. You should not be written about, and you might want to reconsider your name, the theologian Massimo Fagoli has described a network of conservative Catholic bloggers and commentary organizations as the Catholic cyber militia that actively campaigns against LGBTQ and the acceptance of them in the church. These rad trad, this is a new word, rad trad, they're radical traditionalists. These rad trad rosary as a weapon memes represent a social media diffusion of such messaging, and they work to integrate ultra-conservative Catholicism and other aspects of online far-right culture. The rosary in these hands is anything but holy, says Mr. Fagoli. Wow, it's like Dr. Seuss. But for millions of believers, the beads which provide for a sequence of devotional prayers that have been always traditionally looked at as a source of strength, now take on a new meaning.